Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for coming out for what is truly a special day for Manhattan College as we introduce our new Director of Intercollegiate Athletics. Now let me introduce to you Vice President for Student Life, Dr. Richard Satterley.
Thank you, Kevin, and welcome to so many in the Manhattan community, our student athletes, our coaching staff, invited guests, members of the search committee, some folks from the A10 office, and dare I say even some Rams are in the audience. We're really grateful for you all to be here on this very special day for Manhattan athletics. I'm proud to report that over the past 2.5 months, Manhattan College has completed a highly successful national search for our Director of Intercollegiate Athletics. We were thorough and deliberate with the goal of finding the best candidate who would be an ideal fit for Manhattan College and for our athletics program. We were assisted by Mr. Tom O'Connor, former athletic director at George Mason, and his company, Athletic Solutions, and I'd like to recognize Tom, if you'd stand for a minute. With Tom's help, the search committee reviewed close to 50 qualified applicants, and ultimately the committee narrowed the field to 4 excellent finalists, from which the college has chosen a truly exceptional leader, an athletic administrator, and well, where are you? One of our own. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the members of the search committee and ask those of you who are in attendance, I think they all are in attendance, to rise and be recognized. First and foremost, Ms. Barbara Fabe, Vice President for Human Resources. Representing our student athletes and joining us on stage is Ms. Casey Silvestri. Casey is the president of the Student Athlete Advisory Council. She's a member of the women's lacrosse team, and she's an excellent example of what Manhattan athletics is all about. Not only is she an exceptional student and leader, but she's been heavily involved in community service in our community. So thank you, Casey, for giving us some of your busy schedule for this search. Also a big thank you for representation from the faculty. Our faculty athletic representative was a member of the committee, Dr. Sean Latta, who is a professor of kinesiology. Sean, where are you? Right here. And finally, 2 distinguished alumni and trustees of the college served on this committee. Mr. Fred Morrow, class of 1977. Mr. Michael Passarella, class of 1963. Michael. As I said, I'm certain due to the committee's diligent work, we have found the best possible individual to lead our Division I intercollegiate athletic program, a program that now boasts 19 teams and over 350 student athletes. Our student athletes deserve nothing less. And today we embark on a new era in Manhattan College athletics. But before I turn the stage over to President O'Donnell to introduce our new director, I do want to take a moment to recognize our past. Mr. Jack Powers is in attendance. Jack, would you please stand and be recognized? Jack, of course, is a former basketball standout whose number was retired this year. Former men's basketball coach and former athletic director. Jack, thank you very much for making the time to be here today. And now it's my extreme privilege to introduce the 19th president of Manhattan College, Dr. Brennan O'Donnell.
Thank you very much, Dr. Satterley, and thank you for everyone to be here today. Yes, you notice we're being very coy. No one's actually mentioned the name of our new athletic director. It's a big secret we have here. But I must say that I'm delighted to be able to return a favor to Maryann Riley, class of '82, the new athletic director at Manhattan College. Some of you may know, many of you know, she is not the first senior administrator to move from Fordham to Manhattan College. And the day, I remember fondly, the day that I was named president of Manhattan College, I was sitting in my office in Keating Hall, and I wandered out into the hallway, and the very first person who got the email that day seems to have been Maryann Riley. I don't know whether she set off from her office immediately or it was just coincidental, but she was at the end of the hallway when I came out of the office. She came running towards me, and I mean running towards me, fully extended arms, saying, "You're a Jasper!" So, Maryann, you're a Jasper. Again, right? With Maryann, we have to add the again, right? Almost as soon as it became public yesterday afternoon that Maryann had been appointed, my email box began to fill up with enthusiastic notes of congratulations on the great choice that we made. And these notes came not only from members of the Manhattan College community, but also, and actually probably maybe more, so get going, Jaspers, it's a competition now, came from colleagues at Fordham who were sad to see her go, but equally happy to see her take this position that everyone recognizes is such a great fit for her in so many ways. And what a great fit Maryann is for us here. The college's strategic plan commits us to pursuit of excellence throughout the institution. In athletics, that means providing the best possible educational and athletic experience for our student athletes. Our new AD will provide strong leadership in pursuit of ambitious goals for assuring student-athlete welfare, improving facilities, and extending the visibility and the reputation of Manhattan College athletics. As a former athlete and coach, Maryann has a deep personal understanding of the student-athlete experience and all that goes into assuring the welfare of our student-athletes. A fierce competitor as a player, yes, I've heard the stories. The first 100,000 point scorer in, wow, way to go. The first 1,000 point scorer in school history and the first woman inducted into our Athletic Hall of Fame. She has been a role model and a mentor to countless student athletes and coaches. As an experienced educator, she knows how to strike the right balance between challenge and support in getting the very best from all of those around her. As a seasoned administrator, she knows how to get things done. And as a Jasper alumna, she does all of it the Manhattan way, even when she was wearing maroon. At Fordham, Maryann built an impressive record in a wide range of roles over the course of 30 years. Among many notable accomplishments is her work in strategic planning, both at the institutional and the conference level of the Atlantic 10, her service as Fordham's senior women's administrator, her work in developing Fordham's women's basketball and softball teams into perennial conference powers, and her involvement in extensive improvements of Fordham's facilities. Equally important are her skills as a communicator and a relationship builder, and I am confident that she will be an energizing presence both on campus and off, engaging our students, alumni, and the broader community in building excitement about the direction of our program. At Manhattan, we believe strongly that our athletic program can be a unifying force for our community, and I am certain that no one can achieve that goal better than our new Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Maryann Riley. Please join me in welcoming her.
Thank you. It's so good to be home again. I do have some thank yous that I would like to address before we get underway. First, our president. Thank you, President O'Donnell, for your leadership through this process, along with your direction for the past 7 years, which has been incredible with beautification of the campus, the improvement of the facilities, the integrated learning program known as the Arches program, and of course the completion of Kelly Commons. I look forward to working with you under your continued leadership of the college. Thank you. I'd also like to reiterate and thank the search committee, the Vice President for Student Life and my new boss, Dr. Satterley, Board of Trustee members Mike Passerell and Fred Morrow, our faculty athletic rep and professor, Dr. Sean Latta, Vice President for Human Resources, Barbara Fabe, and President of the Student Athletic Advisory Council, Casey Sylvester. Thank you so much. And student athletes, I think it's really important to have a student athlete perspective and input on decisions that will affect the experience of all of you. And I think selecting a new athletic director certainly fit that bill. And I want you all to know that Casey did a fantastic job representing all of you. You can clap. There is a person who I'd like to acknowledge on behalf of the athletic department, and that is Tom O'Connor. Just a short time we've known each other, and I feel like I've known him for a long time. But he served on an interim basis as the athletic director, and he not only provided guidance for the department in a short time, but made them feel whole again, which is so very important, by engaging each individual in the department. So Tom, thank you on behalf of the department. I'd also like to recognize and thank the commissioners of the MAC Conference and the Atlantic 10 Conference, Rick Enzor and Bernadette McGlade, for joining us today. I appreciate your support, and the staff members that are here from the MAC office. Thank you very much. Okay, so before I address my Manhattan family, I need to shout out to my Fordham family, who's here to show support. I've worked with 3 athletic directors while I've been at Fordham College. Here we go. I've worked for 3 athletic directors while I've been at Fordham. Marty Swiren, you were my first boss at Fordham, and now is the athletic director at Lehman College. Frank McLaughlin, emeritus AD, and our current director of athletics, Dave Roach. During my tenure, the leadership team navigated our athletic program through 3 athletic conferences: the MAC, the Patriot League, and the Atlantic 10. Those were very challenging years, but what a wonderful learning experience for those that were involved. I've also had the pleasure to work with longtime colleagues, Charlie Elwood, our Deputy Athletic Director at Fordham, Julio Diaz, and John Barrett. I've learned so much from each athletic director and athletic administrator, and the different styles and the different management styles in delivering an athletic program at the Division I level. I'd also like to acknowledge the Fordham coaches and the student athletes who are most dear to my heart. You inspire me every day to come to work to do what I love to do. And that's because you're committed to your program and your student athletes, and that is the core of who I am. While each of you are different, you always bring your passion, your ideas, and your competitive spirit to our conversations. And I certainly know that you care for our student athletes as if they were your own children. And it's awesome to see 2 rival schools, Manhattan and Fordham, in the same gym for the same reason. That is the beauty that lies within athletics. Probably not highlighted enough in the news. Camaraderie, sportsmanship, healthy competition, and the development of students through that programming. Within the past 24 hours, I feel like I went through an episode of Marianne, This Is Your Life. Social media has its place, but my phone is about to bust. And there are people in the athletic community, and you don't realize how big it is, yet how small it is, that I've crossed professional and personal paths with, that have reached out and offered incredible support. So whether you're online listening or you're here today, thank you so much as I take on this leadership position at Manhattan College Athletic Program. So just a little bit about me so you get to know who I am. I grew up in the Bronx, so the Bronx is still in the house, not too far away from campus. And from my family's terrace, I used to be able to see Manhattan College rising through the hills of Riverdale. Smith Auditorium would be glowing at night. And everyone recognized the campus was the pillar to the Riverdale community. So when I was recruited to attend Manhattan and become part of history and start the first women's basketball Division I team, I was ecstatic, but I had no idea of the honor that was going to be bestowed upon me. I was the first in my family to attend college full-time, and the opportunity to play the sport that I loved, coupled with an athletic scholarship, was truly a blessing. But like most student athletes, you practice 20 hours plus a week, you get caught up in the everyday activities, and you take for granted the opportunity that a college athletic offers, and the power of a scholarship and how it changes someone's path in life. I will challenge our coaches, administrators, and student athletes never to take that for granted. Whether you coach, work, or compete at this level, it is a privilege, not a right, to participate in Division I college athletics. And Manhattan College is a special institution to do just that. Now, reflecting on my experience as an undergraduate, this uniform, I'm a little shocked because it's small and I can't believe I fit into it, but it must have shrunk while I was in the closet. So I'm finally returning it after 30 plus years, along with my, and you all have to see the past. This was our first travel bag. So imagine that, that's how I travel. Okay, so that is going to be returned after 30 years of shrinking in my closet. But seriously, when I look at the uniform, it reminds me of the program's transition from club sport to a Division I varsity level. Imagine that, going from a club sport not only to Division I, but to be competing at that high level. By year 3, we were playing Rutgers, Duke, Georgetown, George Washington, Temple. So when we beat Fordham in my junior year, that was historic. And the reason why was because they were the Eastern Regional Champions, which would have been like the Elite 8 in today's world. So while that all, I look at the uniform and it reminds me of the work ethic that we had, the friendships that we had. We had friendships on both teams. We all grew up in the Bronx, we all played basketball, and when we played, we were fierce competitors, but afterwards, we were friends. And I still see that even in the men's program today. Men's and women's basketball that have played against each other in the past are still friends. So athletics brings that community. It reminds me of the work ethic that we had as a team, the wins, the losses, the lessons learned that have guided me through my life. What also resonates with me is the influence of a coach on his or her student athletes. All coaches are teachers. They may be able to teach skills in their classroom, on their court, in the pool, but we all have to remember that we're obligated to be educators. And you might ask, well, what's the difference? Educators naturally are teachers, but they're also mentors. They have the ability to step away, leaving a permanent impression on a student, and then watching that student grow. That's so important. Administrators, you serve as educators too. Whether you're balancing a budget, preparing a facility, or caring for the student athlete in the training room, you demonstrate the values of this institution. 2 individuals who truly were educators while I was a student athlete here was the infamous Doc Johnson, who served as the athletic department's athletic trainer. He passed away about a month ago, and believe it or not, today would have been his 99th birthday. So God bless, and how appropriate that many of the golden rules that he shared with us over the years, the wellness of the student athlete, remain with me today. He also mentored my teammate, Dr. Lisa Tiscano, for many, many years, and who served with him in the athletic training department, and is currently a professor at the college. He taught us to care for ourselves, the whole person, and each other. The other individual who we're fortunate to have with us today is former Jasper legend, Jack Powers. whose number was recently retired. Jack taught me the biggest lesson of my career. The welfare of the student athlete always comes first. Decisions made and explained to me as a young student athlete, whether I agreed or I didn't agree with them, molded my philosophy as I became more and more involved with athletic administration. So I am a coach, I am a teacher, but most importantly, I am an educator. And whether you are on the court or in the field or in the office, if you are in a position to influence and change the lives of student athletes, then your goal is to become an educator. One of my first orders of business will be to spend time with staff and student athletes. I am fortunate enough to be leading a group of very motivated and talented administrative staff and coaches. And while they seem willing to set high expectations for their program, they are equally setting high standards for themselves. People ask me, what's my vision? I'll be developing that and clarifying that over the summer with our staff. But I can share with you some of the standards and expectations that we will have as we embark on this journey. We will operate our athletic program with integrity and class, no exceptions. The student athlete will be at the core of everything we do. Every decision that we make, we will always be in the best interest of the student athlete and his or her experience here. We will inspire and unify the Manhattan College community, telling our story with pride about our rich athletic tradition with our Olympians, our conference and NCAA champions. Just look at the banners that hang among us. We will pride ourselves on the fact that we are a Lasallian Catholic institution and provides us with a foundation where athletics and academics can coexist together in excellence at the Division I level. And of course, we want to be competitive in our conference. We want all Jaspers on board with a renewed optimism. People want to support success, and we will strive every day, both on and off the competitive site, to have that excellence. Now, before I end, I just want to send a final shout out to my family for their unconditional support, and of course my husband, Tom Delaney, who's the biggest Manhattan fan, who always has my back. I am thrilled to be home again. I have a deep understanding of the opportunity the college has bestowed on me this time. And as Director of Intercollegiate Athletics at Manhattan College, I promise that we are going to do some special things here at the college. So hop on board. And just this once, while we have both sides of the Bronx in the house, I would like to end this event with a Go Jaspers on 3. And for the people, you gotta say it. All right? 1, 2, 3. Go Jaspers!